Good afternoon, Speed Gaming 2, and welcome to the Link to the Past Randomizer League Invitational Playoffs. This is the conference finals, game 4 between PugTrio and the Spoilers. We've got Andy for PugTrio and Shady Force for the Spoilers, and the mode is Ambrosia. As I said, it's 2-1 right now in favor of PugTrio. My name is Raptor Sniper 99, and today I'm joined by Nitro. How's it going?
I'm doing great, my friend. Looking forward to this epic duel between these two guys. They're going to clash for the next, well, I'd say hour and a half to 2 hours and see if PugTrio can pull out and go to the finals.
Yeah, so to anybody who's kind of wondering how we got to this position, this series, just pulling it up now, sorry. So in this series so far, Dr. Marty Zero faced off with Andy earlier this week and lost, what was that, Hard Randomizer?
That was hard.
And then Zelga took down Solsky, and then Shady lost to Futon. So that is bringing us to this game 4 here. If Shady can win this race, we will see a game 5 between the other two members of the team. So we would see Zelga and Marty versus Solsky and Futon in a co-op reference.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
What is Ambrosia?
Isn't that where we start in the Dark World and all the big keys are shuffled except for GT?
Exactly. So we've got a Dark World start. So we're going to see Dark World stuff. And then we got to start with a sword as well. Big keys are shuffled for every dungeon except for GT. And finally, the dungeon bosses or the bosses are guaranteed to have an item.
Oh, so similar to Ambrosia, just got it. Andy looking to see if there's any bomb drops. So far, not. Oh, Stumpy's got bombs for us. That's nice.
Yeah, the other thing you really hope for is maybe some money, and we did get that already. So those 50 rupees, I think we're going to get to see an arrow game coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, so you could do the arrow game into the dig game for an expensive shovel.
Yeah, this is kind of a staple technique in Inverted, is you better know how to play arrow game.
Yeah, for sure. And I think players of this caliber could definitely play the arrow game.
Oh, yeah. And Andy is giving us a treat of an arrow game here with the 99 strats.
Making it look easy.
Yeah.
Oh, and we got an early pearl.
So anybody curious about those 99 in the strats, all you're doing is, and I'm saying all very kindly here, this is making it simpler than it is, you have to hit the same target 5 times. Usually that 5th arrow is only worth 64 rupees if you're hitting individual targets a bunch. But if you can hit the same target 5 times, there you go. There's your 99s.
All right.
So yeah, Shady and Andy are both going to give us Hype Cave. There's our first big key to Mire. We also did get a glove and a sword. So that is a relatively hype cave.
Yeah. Well, in Ambrosia, or in any inverted, Hype Cave is probably going to be more hype than normal anyway, because there's so limited places you can go at the beginning.
I did miss that. We also did receive the book of Medora. So definitely a decent start here. And Shady Force giving us that extra little bit of knowledge, you know. I think a lot of us go, oh yeah, in a normal, light world start, I know where the extra bombs are, like south of Grove. Shady showing us the arrow skulls here, as well as Andy. So, both runners saying, I know where bombs are.
Yeah, for sure. And, we got crystals at everything but pod. And I think 5-6 was Swamp and
Thieves Town. Yeah. Now, of course, the interesting piece here is we are just a lamp short of Aga being required for Dark World. You don't actually need a Master Sword to get to Aga. Aga Tower is now at the Ganon's Tower location. So some little stuff that's changed in this mode. Obviously, of course, each dungeon is going to have one extra item available. But we have some changes due to the inverted setup.
Right, all the mirror locations are changed. And the book is hard required to get into desert, which we're
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great find this early. I mean, there's a good chance that desert is, of course, a pendant and we might not need it. But it's still a possibility now.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's definitely something we'll have to see the runners consider as they go along.
But it's nice to have the book so that if desert is a crystal, you don't have to really wait around, because that's the only way to get into it in inverted. But you guys will see, if this is your first inverted seed ever, that and the mirror works the opposite. It works in the light world, not in the dark, and the flute is in the dark world and takes you to the same position, just in the dark world instead of in the light world, and you have to activate it in the light world.
Yeah, that flute is really a complicated little piece of knowledge.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, we'll definitely try to call out some of the things that are inverted specific as we go along. We're not really seeing any of those yet. With that book, we've got one piece so far, but we'll try to call some of the other ones that are a lot more common to this mode. To those of you who've also been watching a lot of these Game 3, Game 4 modes, this is not a hard item pool. This is one of our modes that will rely on normal item pool.
So runners can get blue mail and all the hearts that they want, and silvers, and etc., etc.
Exactly.
That's not saying that there's not swords that are buried that they won't get, but they could get them.
I mean, we've already got Master Sword. Who cares? We can kill Ganon. This is easy.
Exactly. Well, yeah, for these runners, absolutely. If you're a newbie, Master Sword may not be your best bet.
Yeah, these are the conference finals. So if PugTrio does win today, they will be punching their ticket into the finals of the Invitational League. And we're still waiting to find a winner on the opposite side of the bracket. So going to be really curious to see which two teams face off for the title.
Yeah, absolutely.
We do not get a boots hint in Inverosia.
Oh, right, because you don't start with the uncle.
Yeah, we don't have a standard uncle start in this mode, so we don't have an uncle hint for boots. So unfortunate there. A little different from Ambrosia in that regard. And we get the big key to Thieves Town right there in chest game.
Huh, that's an interesting find, and that just makes Thieves Town even more doable here. So full clear Thieves Town, even though you don't have a hammer, you can full clear it now.
Well, that's the question. Are you more tempted to want a full clear, or are you going to be a little bit shyer about this kind of move? So we'll see what we find here in the first 4. For all we know, we're going to get dark or light world access here. Although instead, Shady Force does take a fireball death.
That's a little unfortunate for him. Well, there's a lamp for Aga.
Yeah, that is Death Mountain access. That first trip up the mountain, of course, we will have to rescue the old man. But we could make a subsequent trip into, Super Bunny Cave or even Aga Tower.
Yep.
There is a staircase right by the portal between Light World and Dark World on West Death Mountain that can bring you up to the GT entrance, which is now Aga Tower.
Yep. And you can actually, I believe, get to several Turtle Rock places as well once you have Mire and stuff like that.
Yeah, the one thing a lot of runners will tell you is, I guess we could call it the drawback of inverted, is Death Mountain. Death Mountain routing is really complicated.
Yes. Yeah, in inverted, it's definitely a lot more complicated than normal.
And yes, the sprites today, of course, we have Andy using his normal sprite, the pug, and Shady Force is giving us the mouse.
I love the mouse, I must tell you.
I think it's a really neat sprite. I think the only question I have is just the idea of, knowing what direction you're pointing. And I'm guessing that's just something you have so practiced.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure Shady Force has practiced that more times than not, so I'm sure he's quite proficient in that. So we do have the small key for the back. So the question will be is do we get all 4 items out of here, or is there going to be something that's left behind that we have to get later?
Well, and it's all 5 items is the big thing here, of
Oh, sorry,
course.
5 items.
But yeah, I mean, this boss is in logic. Technically, the fact that we got the small key already means blind is in logic. It just does cause that worry of, is there actually an item in the big chest that we have to go get? And the fact that we got the compass only raises that possibility even further.
Yep. And if we see the map, then there's definitely something there. And then it's just obviously, hopefully, in a perfect world scenario, you get the hammer on blind and just go right back in and get it.
I don't think we're gonna. I think that becomes the last location for either runner, unfortunately. Yeah. Even if I pull that hammer off of blind, I'm bailing for Light World.
Yeah.
On the plus side, we do have a glove, of course, so we can go down straight through this block. That is never a good feeling when you show up in Thieves Town without a glove, and then you get reminded you're supposed to have a glove to lift stuff. And just a green rupee and blind cell.
The 50-50 shot that we can full clear Thieves Town on first go.
Yeah, I did miss. We didn't get the map in the front, I'm guessing.
I didn't see it. I'm sure chat will correct me. Oh, so we take the map in the front, so there is an item in the back. Now we get to watch perfect blind screen.
Yeah, it doesn't matter which sword you got. Just, hit 9 times and fight over.
Yep. I love blinds puns. It's fantastic.
Nice fight there from Andy. Shady also in the fight right now. Also well on to script. We did get some bombs off of blind. Not a big deal. And I think at this point, we know that we're going to be heading up the mountain. Shady Forest getting a little off script, but still a great blind fight. So excellent from both runners getting their first crystals of this race.
Yep. And yeah, for sure, we're definitely going to go up the mountain. And then, there's so much we can do up there, especially with the Pearl. So we'll see what our runners decide to do once they go up there. But yeah, this is the beginning of how complicated Death Mountain becomes in inverted mode. So there's a lot that's in logic when you don't think about it and just have to think.
Yeah, not a lot of options for either of our runners right now, so they know that this is pretty much the only play to make. You could try for a current jump to get to East Dark World, but it's really not worth it at this point. So yeah, both runners just going to head up the mountain at this point.
Well, especially with no bow, there's really no reason to go to do that kind of thing. Unless you're really desperate to make a ginormous play, but yeah, this is definitely where you should be.
So here we go, up on Death Mountain. So obviously we're on the DDM side of things right now. So you got to take the old man up the mountain here. And you're going to take the portal to bring him to Light Death Mountain. So then if you want to explore Dark Death Mountain, you're going to have to do a save and quit. Yep. It makes perfect sense.
It makes a lot of sense. And there's the stairs for Agator.
So we are going to look at a Spec Rock. So Spec Rock does have a big key. To get that item, we'd have to get up to Hera, and then the back of Spec Rock is now actually flattened out a little bit, so it's not a ledge. Old man just giving us $20. So to access Hera, and Hera is a pendant, and our green pendant is at Desert. To access Tower of Hera, you need the hammer in this mode.
Hammer and Hookshot?
No, actually, you could get it with mitts and hammer instead, because we could take the Aga Tower steps that you were talking about.
Right.
And then work from there to the go across, drop down, hit the Myths portal on the east Dark Death Mountain, and then climb up Paradox Cave and go hammer through there.
Right.
So we did get that inside a Spectacle Rock check from Andy, just a piece of heart, so not a big deal. Shady Force did skip it, just doing a save and quit directly after. So I'm not sure if... Okay, Shady getting the fairy off of that flower circle is going to try to get past these Lionels.
Yeah, this is definitely the harder part of Inverted in general, is because you have all the enemies from Dark World, and they do a lot more damage, and you only have 4 hearts. It's scary.
Yeah, and Shady giving us a great move there with the bomb.
Oh,
So, yeah, unfortunate Andy getting the death there. Question in chat, do you need flute from Mire? No, you do not actually in this mode. While flute can, of course, bring you to your normal 7 spot, the other piece of this, of course, is that you can instead take... walk over to desert area and mirror into the Mire area.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Andy's doing Aga.
Yeah, gambling. Probably not feeling great about that death in his set and just saying, you know what, it's Aga. And we're going to find out. There's the flute out of Super Bunny as well as the blue boomerang. So yes, this is an Aga seed.
Yep. All right, so how many blue balls are we going to get today, sir?
Let's just go with 3. You know, nice and average. Nothing too extreme on any end.
I'll go with 4. I don't want to be too mean to the runners today. Even chat's being nice to the runners right now, which is nice.
I mean, I think they've seen some stuff that's, you know, already a little bit wary. You know, we've got that book early. So the possibilities for needing Green Pendant Desert are already very, very interesting.
Yep.
And realistically, you have all the tools to beat Desert, unless it's boots locked. And oh man, Andy just not having much luck here today to start off. That is getting... He got 1.0 there, knocked off, and then took damage in the fall animation.
Ugh. You could end up, if you I've had that happen on Laser Bridge, where you get hit once by the laser or twice by the laser, and then before you know it, you're like dead because you fall in the pit too. It's just classic.
Exactly. So this is that's a rough start there, unfortunately. He's not going to be too far behind because realistically, he and Shady are going to be in the same room here in the Dark Maze. But yeah, definitely a little bit of a setback.
Now, coming out of Aga Tower with the entire light world as your oyster, where would you go first?
So this is always an interesting piece of this mode. You know, how do you route Light World? So we're going to be on top of Hyrule Castle. So I'm just, you know, just thinking about, you know, how you want to play this kind of moment. I might go south and hit South Shore into maybe Zora and hit Kak last. Or the other possibility is you go... actually, do the front of Hyrule Castle. If you get the opportunity, potentially go through Hyrule Castle all the way to Sanctuary. And then work your way to Kakariko Village.
And that's the other big key that's also vanilla in this, is a big key to Hyrule Castle. GT and Hyrule Castle are in their vanilla dungeons.
But our runners are pretty much right on top of each other at this moment. Andy just a little bit, you know, behind in terms of item finds. That flute is, of course, the big prize that Shady had. Boomerang, not a huge deal.
No. it's nice to get the flute early, but again, in this mode, you have to activate it in the light world, which they will be in shortly, and then you use it in the dark world.
Yeah, the worry, of course, is that if that flute was required to get to either East Dark World or Mire area for something, you know, for armits, for a hammer, for a mirror, or something else, like that's kind of the concern here for Andy. It's not a huge deal since we're going to be we're going to walk around Light World. That's not a huge loss for him.
So far, 2-2 on the hits. 2 blue balls so far. Alright, come on, Aga. Start playing nice for our runners, please. We're up to 4 already. Dear gosh. Aga not playing nice today. And Andy's showing his discretion, lighting Aga with the lamp.
So there we go. We are now into the light world. Both runners through that. And yep, Andy is going to head towards the uncle first.
Shady's going through Hyrule Castle.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Andy do the same after checking out the uncle stuff. But I think Andy might set up for the Death Warp afterwards and go straight to the back. We'll see if how that route's going to work out. So we do get our first bottle. That does mean, of course, that there is a possibility that our small key is either in the Dark Cross or in the back of Escape.
And luckily they have the glove so they can get it. And I like Shady's knowing that when he got the bottle to see that there's a fairy in there, knowing he's going to set up a Death Warp shortly to let it go so he doesn't have to worry about the fairy revival. All right, let's see what's in Zelda's cell today.
So Shady taking some extra damage. Does get that kill, though, before taking too much.
And now we have all the money for Zora with that 300.
Yeah, we've just had a few minor decisions from each of our runners. Shady skipping the Spectacle Rock check, Andy dying, trying to get past those Lionels for Super Bunny Cave. Really just the only two things that are actually different so far.
Yep. All right, let's see where Andy goes next.
Yeah, Andy's skipping out on Dark Cross right now, surprisingly. He's going to still head back up to... So what they did for Inverted is that they're right in front of the pyramid here is a tile to warp once you kill Aga. And our runners are going in opposite directions. We got a little bit of a high five there, but completely opposite directions from here. Andy heading towards Kakariko through the breezeway. And Shady Force is going to come to Kakariko, it looks like from the south.
Yeah, and then, the other change in Inverted is that the big bomb is in Link's house, what would normally be in Link's house. And that is how you get to the Cave of 43. It's just open for you.
Yeah. nice little changeover for that cave. Now, the other piece here is we're going to see Graveyard Ledge now from Andy. There we have added stairs. So you can get to Graveyard Ledge. And probably what we're going to see from Andy is he'll go and drop into the back of Escape. And then if he needs to, he can always walk to Dark Cross. And race game there had nothing, just some bombs.
Yep.
So yeah, and he's gonna drop in here. He'll come when he finishes, he'll come out through Sanctuary. Piece of heart on the library ledge.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be saving and quitting as much as you usually do because you start in the dark world, not in the light world.
So there's our small key and a map. So we do have an item in Dark Cross. Now you might have noticed that there was usually bushes around the library. There's an interesting change here in that you can actually get to the smith without mitts. So Jeremiah is still in the dark world, but around the library, if you mirror, you can grab Jeremiah and bring him back using that mirror transition. This also means that there's only one check in the whole game that is actually locked by Titan's mitts, and that, of course, is King's Tomb. Everything else is accessible without ever finding Titan's mitts.
What a great weird mode that this is. I love inverted. Oh, Andy, forgetting about the fairy.
And there's our hammer off of the bottle merchant.
Okay, so we have full dark world access, full light world access, and dark world access. And I hate how you look at it now.
And I don't believe we've seen Shady yet activate his flute. Hopefully he remembers to do that coming up. We do get blue mail and the big key to Desert Palace. Oh man. This seed might be screaming, you gotta go to Desert.
Yeah, my only fear with going to Desert is if it's boots locked, you're screwed. But I mean, it just gives you everything you got for it now, except for the boots. Let's see what's in Blind's Hut. Hopefully something else. Got ether. Oh, and a tempered sword.
So very well equipped already.
Oh yeah. Oh, just bombs at the mushroom spot. And
yeah, we've been finding a lot of bombs early.
Yeah, and there's Shady activating his flute.
Yeah, good thing he remembered to do that while he was here. And then it'll be very interesting. I'm guessing Shady Force is going to head up towards the Lost Woods. Yep, so just another little high five there between our runners. Now, of course, this game was picked by Andy. He was the one who selected Ambrosia. The spoilers had the pick of the first game being the higher seed. So PugTrio got game choice for this one. So Andy did go with the Ambrosia here.
And is Shady Force going to go read pen? It looks like he is.
Yeah, there's enough stuff that could be there that we might care, especially given the fact that the seed is kind of giving you that access to desert so quickly. So you want to know.
So Pet is dead officially. All right, so while we're about 28 minutes in, give our runners a follow, both Shady Force and Andy. They are putting on an amazing show here this afternoon, and they would definitely love your support. So if you like what you're seeing, definitely give them a follow. They would really appreciate it.
There is the hammer for Andy. Meanwhile, Shady is going to give us a look at the lumberjack. We did not get that from Andy, and it's just 10 arrows, so not needed today. Yeah, Zelga kind of giving us an idea of how this whole pick thing works. So the first 3 games are, of course, decided based on pendant. There's no real thing going on there. Power players, the high seed gets to pick a mode. Pretty much, just say what mode you were going to pick when you schedule the match. So obviously, Dr. Marty getting to kind of make that decision then. And then after that, once they knew that they were going to have a game for both runners, both teams put up a runner and the low seed gets to pick that mode. And yeah, it's pretty much just, be nice. This is a nice community overall. Like, for those of you who only get to see the races, like really everybody is really accommodating for each other and lots of really kind people to it. So makes things great.
Yeah, everybody's so welcoming to everybody. And there's always just new people joining, which is fantastic.
Guck mal meine Pupillen. Guck mal, wie groß die sind. Ich habe
Alright, so Andy's gonna start on the South Shore route now. Doing the South Shore stuff now and see where we go from there.
So yeah, we got that 300 rupees out of the dam. We will, of course, get to see Mini Moldorm, and I have to imagine a fake flipper. That pearl makes it an easy choice.
Yeah, I would probably. I mean, I think I guess Ice Rod Cave would be first, but
oh, of course.
Yeah, and then fake flipper. The problem with Ice Rod Cave is it's so isolated. Without boots, it's just like such a long walk.
Yeah, I think, both routes through this light world have been pretty good. I think you're seeing a little bit of Andy's possible experience here. I think, him choosing this mode might just be a comfort level and him knowing roughly how he wants to route this.
Bombs, arrows, money, more arrows, and more money. So Mini Moldorm Cave, not the answer.
So let's see where Shady Force is going. I think we might see the dam, but this could be a desert play. Really making the gamble here, possibly on Shady Force's side. Yeah, looks like we're going to get to see desert. And this also means Bombos tablet. So another one of those minor changes, there are now stairs up to the Bombos tablet here, since obviously we can't mirror to the Bombos tablet.
Exactly.
So the book must be leading to something in Shady's mind.
Yeah. It's
That's something.
Oh, yeah. Now, do you still go into desert here, or do you take that right up the mountain?
The problem is that Hera, of course, is a pendant for this seed, so it's not even like a massive benefit. I mean, you're getting the Paradox Cave, you can get Hookshot Cave. So for Andy, that's huge because it gives him more incentive to get back over to that flute location. it's really just a dense item area, and really we don't have a lot of options for clearing dungeons right now.
Yeah, see, and we can also get to checkboard cave because there's no mirror. There's no mirror. Let's see what Hobo has today. A big key. What is it to? Swamp Palace. Okay.
Yeah, not one of our required big keys, but of course we are just Mire and a Flippers from Swamp. And that is our other 5/6 crystal. So here we go. We are going to get the desert play from Shady Force. I'm going to be really curious to find out if we find anything on this one. It is green pendant, so we know there are 3 items here, of course, just because of the ambrosia. But we also now know that there is the 4th item with the green pendant turn-in.
Hey, vanilla boots on Saha? Or right there?
Yeah, right inside of the Zora waterfall. So that's a nice find for Andy.
And of course, Desert is boots locked.
Yeah, and of course that doesn't stop Shady from beating Landmolus here as we get the mushroom. Shady could go and kill Landmolus, just knows that that kill is out of logic without boots. And yep, Andy heading right back up the mountain. For him, this just means, you know, he can go do Super Bunny and Hookshot Cave right now. Obviously, you know, a lot of talk about this in chat. Andy, well known as a runner who can hover and does so. So we will be seeing those checks in Hookshot Cave.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I would say the bigger thing, of course, is that he is going to get that flute and boomerang, which does mean he'll activate the flute soon after that. And I gotta wonder, you know, we might see him head towards the desert area soon after that.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of running out of checks anyway, so it's something's got, you know, we got to get some progression here.
So, of course, this chest is in logic for Andy, and it is the big key to Ice Palace. Bonking is expected as something you can do in this game. And here we go. Here's our hover, and yep, Andy is realizing, oh, I gotta be a little bit careful there. Gets 50 rupees. This bonk's a little bit tighter, but still hits it very nicely, and then just one more hover here to get to this last chest. And very cleanly done to finish up the Hookshot Cave.
And he makes it look easy, folks. It is not. So, you know, that is a lot of practice that's going to that stuff.
Yeah. For those of you curious about how that works, is you're just releasing the A button for a frame at a time. So like most runners will like change up their grips to kind of pull that off.
Let's see where Andy goes next.
Looks like he's going to make that same play to desert. So Andy will have that hookshot very soon, and honestly, with those boots, he is just making up time. Like, even without the flute activation, he's going to be able to just clear things that much faster.
Yep, exactly. And Mire is... Oh, there's a bow. Mire is also ether, so we can get into Mire.
Yeah, and I think both of our runners are going to wait at least, or try to wait until they might find our cane.
And the big key. We need that too.
We do have Mire Big.
Oh, we do? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're going to see Cat from Shady Force.
Yeah, I think we'll see Shady head up the mountain soon after this. For him, there's just so many options with that Light Death Mountain. Like Paradox Cave has 7 items, Spiral has another one, and then of course, Hera is an option with the Ether Tablet there. So even without the Hera Big Key, I would not be shocked to see either of our runners go for a Hera pot.
Yeah. All right, so nothing on Catfish.
And yeah, the point we were saying earlier about, Shady's own comfort with inverted, I think you're seeing kind of that difference here with this portal check. Shady taking the portal here at 4 instead of taking the Aga portal, which I think would actually be a little quicker, and why we've seen it run from Andy a few more times.
Yeah, this is definitely a comfort level thing for Shady, that he may not be as comfortable with inverted.
And we will see what Shady does here. So we're going to get the dam. I'm assuming Mini Moldorm Cave and probably Ice Rod Cave. The question becomes, does Shady Force decide to still head back and do the fake flipper? For Shady with that hook shot, just so many more options available on Death Mountain that I wonder how hard he pushes the fake flipper.
That's a really good question. I mean, my only argument would, hopefully for him he does, so he doesn't not have the boots, but, you know.
And yes, as Cool Papa Bell says in chat, remembering how to route Death Mountain in inverted is one of the hardest skills, and not forgetting anything.
Yep.
I think we all have horror stories about mirroring and going back and forth, and it's something.
The first time I played inverted, I had no idea what I was doing, and I was just fumbling around.
So we'll see if it looks like Andy is going to head towards Landmolus. Knowing that it's the green pendant as well as an item, I don't blame him for this decision. This looks like a value play for him, saying, I'm here. It's hard enough to get back into desert because you have to read the book. So understandable decision here. So yeah, the whole thing with Death Mountain, yes, Turtle Rock, you technically don't even need a medallion to finish it. Obviously, we will still need to, get the big key to beat Trinexx. We'll need the Fire Rod and the Ice Rod. We'll need Samaria, but technically you can get in through any other door. Yep. So you don't even need the front door, potentially. So there we go. There is that single air out of Ice Rod Cave, and Shady is walking out of Ice Rod Cave. We might be getting that fake flipper.
Yeah, I mean, I think for him this is a good decision because he already did Catfish, so there's, you don't want to isolate Zora, so you might as well do it now, and you have the Pearl, and it'll be a good decision because he'll get his boots.
Shady is going to skip Hobo, though. And that, of course, was our I think that was our big key to Ice Palace there, was it?
It was, yes.
So not a required big key, but one that just leaves another little hanging thread for Shady later if he doesn't go back for it.
Oh, as long as it's not something crazy, then he should be.
Oh, sorry. Corrected from chat. It was the Swamp big key.
Well, both of those big keys are kind of optional, especially with the different strats.
Yeah, 2 different, not necessary big keys, just nice ones to have.
Yes.
But Shady does have his boots now, so going to quickly work his way over to Zora. Find out the ledge is nothing as well, as Andy is going to give us East Death Mountain now.
Yeah, this is so high density that this is definitely a good play.
And Shady Force also up on the mountain, so I'm going to guess we're going to get Hookshot Cave before Paradox on Shady's side. At this point, the only real difference, besides the fact that Andy's a little bit ahead on some of these Death Mountain checks, is, of course, Shady having the bow out of Mire Shed as well as the flute activated, which is definitely a high priority for Andy. But we get our Bombos Medallion, which does mean, realistically, Andy could full clear Ice Palace. And there's our other bow. So even that Mire Shed bow, not a huge deal.
And just continue to hover.
Nice hover over there instead of the bomb jump. Does save a bit of time.
And now you'll see the other change in inverted where there's a bridge now up here for the Quake Medallion.
So that is a full coin set for Andy and soon Shady Force as well. Yes. And here's the Death Mountain shenanigans. There has been a new ledge to jump down over on East Death Mountain to hit Mimic Cave. Obviously no way to mirror to it, so you got to do an extra drop down.
Yeah, this is definitely a hard thing to, especially if it's your first time doing inverted, to figure all this out.
So at this point, I think we're going to see Andy probably head over to Hera, at least do Ether, Tablet, and probably at least, I got to think we see a clear of Moldorm at this point. The Hera pot's just so obvious at this point, having Hookshot and Boots, that I think you go for it. And we also see this big key on top of Spectral Rock. Is this a required big key?
Well, let's find out. It's TR.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Now we're up to 11 hearts for Andy. Shady working through Death Mountain as well. Getting a little bit of bullied by the dead rocks, but still through. I mean, we're on blue mail, so not too many worries. There's our small key over in the basement cage, as Shady gets that TR big key as well. Andy going for the hook speed Hera pot. There's a lot of different variations. So we'll see what kind Shady Force probably goes for next.
I like the Philly pot better.
Yeah, the Philly pot is probably the newest variation, and a lot of people really like that one just for the simplicity of it, honestly.
Yeah, it's so easy, so simple. Even us runners who had no idea how to do it can now do it. So it's really nice.
Yeah, a lot less pixel perfect setups required for that one. There's only one pixel perfect setup you need. So the other ones are really forgiving. So meanwhile, Shady Force is going to give us did the bonk setup and then does a nice job getting his own Hera pot there. As we find our fourth sword off of Moldorm. So yeah, Shady not giving us Mimic Cave yet. It'll be interesting to see how he approaches those drop downs. Andy knew he needed a second drop down. So he, hit up the first one with Mimic Cave. He'll be doing Spiral Cave now. I'll be curious to see if Shady Force does give us both of the drop downs. Not to mention the fact Shady also skipped Spectacle Rock Interior. So for him, there's 3 drop downs or 3 things he could check.
We'll have to see where he just, oh, and he knows he doesn't need the pendant. I was like, why is he falling? Right, he knows Ped is dead. Well, there's the fire rod. That is important for Skullwoods.
Yeah, and for Andy, this is a good opportunity because he needs to activate his flute. So activate your flute, beat Skullwoods, and then probably, I don't know, I was about to say ice, but we don't have flippers yet. So it'd be a fake flipper into ice. So not a required play yet.
And ice is open as well. Since you from the light world, you go just where Ice Palace normally is, and you're there.
The other piece that's interesting is both of our runners did skip Hera Basement. I think we still have an item in the dungeon.
I'm gonna go to you on that. I'm not sure, but and chat saying so as well. So
because we definitely like that dungeon has 3 items, and of course we got the one off of Moldorm. Actually, we don't know for sure. Like, it would have to be map and compass were the last 2 chests, and I don't think that's the case.
the moth fight.
Yeah, Fire Rod, Butter Sword, and yeah, that's just not a fair fight at this point. To anybody who's starting to learn this game, if you've got a tempered sword, one of the best things you can do for yourself is kind of be aggressive with the moth. If you can really just like bring the attack to the moth, you can control that fight the whole time and never even have to worry about the kill. It's when you have to play a bit more passive that moth can control that fight.
Yeah, and that fight can go south real fast.
And Andy heading back into Light World. I'm curious what the play is here. I was thinking flute activation, but
I mean, at this point, the flute kind of doesn't really do very much for him. So, my guess, he's gonna turn the mushroom in.
Okay, probably a scum of it, actually, depending on what we get.
I would have to think Eastern and Saha have to be next for these runners.
Yeah, the only where I have there, of course, is no Eastern Big Key.
No, but yeah, that's true. It's just
and Andy is not going to scum that mushroom. Instead, decides to purchase a blue potion. And setting up another fake flipper to get back over to the North Light World. So probably Bonk Rocks into flute activation for Andy. Maybe even a check of Lumberjack, because he did not actually check that out.
and especially to check it out when you have boots is probably the quickest time. So. If we find a mirror here, we can get to Laser Bridge and find Canis and Mario on Laser Bridge, which is really disgusting.
Yeah, Mirror is really kind of one of our big pieces to open up a lot more of this seed, especially with Turtle Rock right now.
Andy's got blind check Lumberjack.
Yep, and Shady Forest finishing up with Skull Woods. Now going to flute over to 8. This is going to be the fake flipper into Ice Palace.
It's a dungeon he can complete. I don't blame him at all.
Yeah, the only part that kind of stinks for Shady here is no big key. And of course, we have to do Ice Palace Bomb Jump. That does make this dungeon quite a bit longer. But we'll see what we find out of this play.
Yeah, that's why you still have to know it, just in case.
Yeah, that's definitely a skill that is still valuable, even if you're only doing, you're hoping for Icebreaker more often. There are still seeds that require, other techniques. And yep, Andy activated the flute, done there. So going to, I think, give us the Mire area check.
Can Shady Forest hover or no?
I am not sure. I know it's a lot more common of a skill than people realize anymore. It's not like a few select runners. There is a growing population of runners who know how to do it. So it wouldn't shock me. There's the silvers, though, for Andy, as well as that piece of heart. Nice use of the damage off of the spikes to set up that dash through the conveyor room. And Andy is going to follow Shady into Ice Palace.
Careful not to fall.
And that is the worry always. This is it's going to be a tough maneuver at times. But does get through it and is proceeding now through ice.
I'm curious if there's something in pod right now, because it just, it's something that's accessible, and I know it's a pendant, but it's just like, where do you go to get, where the seed actually wants you to go?
Yeah. And yes, when I say common, I'm not saying like everybody knows it, but I'm saying it's not like a 1% of runners kind of strategy anymore. Like, I think we're nearing a lot higher saturation than that. So, nothing so far in ice.
Big key to Skull Woods, which we were just there.
Yeah, if there's something in this Ice Palace big chest, this could really spell some major problems for Shady. I think this is still a really close race, but this is one of those items that could start making a difference.
Yep.
Especially as we got our second small key out of the U room, so both small keys available. This Ice Palace clear is completely in logic, besides the lack of flippers.
Yeah, who needs flippers?
Exactly.
Temporary.
And it is just our map, so not a big deal here for.
Well, that's really good. So, that's really good for Shady Force that he's not going to have to worry about that later.
We get the big key to Eastern Palace. So you were right. Saha and Eastern probably coming up next.
Well, now at least, had you gone before, you'd have to double dip Eastern, right? Like, now you can go in and full clear Eastern on one go. So going there first would have been bad, because probably flippers are there to then go get all your stuff for Ice Palace.
Yeah, and Andy taking a different route through this dungeon, whereas Shady Force decided to go north at the big spike room. Andy deciding to go a little bit more conventional routing through Ice Palace and hitting Ice T before now hitting the right side.
All right, Shady Force on to Cold Stare with Butter Sword. This is probably one of the easier fights now.
Yeah, definitely a well-equipped fight. Unfortunately, missing that spin, so gonna burn that blue potion. Luckily, Buttersword makes this a pretty straightforward fight.
Let's see what Cold Stare drops. Oh, there's the powder.
Really does raise the question, where are our flippers? Because flippers do lock the boots, which means even this Eastern clear is locked by those.
Yeah. Like I said, either Pod or Eastern have the, my guess has it at this point. So we'll see. It looks like Shady's going to Eastern first. So doing Saha into Eastern.
Yeah, we haven't even seen a green pennant turn in, so this is a really valuable play.
And we know that the green pendant can't be flippers either because that's locked behind the small key that's on the torch.
Yeah, and I like the idea, you know, head to Eastern first. You can do Saha right after. And that could be part of this, is just saying, until I find flippers, that green pendant's not a huge play.
Right.
Nice spin into the corner there from Andy, and 3 quick slashes. Down goes Cold Stare. So, nice play. Both of our runners, once again, tied up on crystals. So 3 crystals apiece with Shady in Eastern for crystal number 4. Honestly, not an advantage huge in either direction yet. They are pretty much directly on top of each other, play for play.
Yeah, I mean, the seed has been really kind of linear in that direction. It's like go here, and there's been no chance for diversion.
Yeah, both, you know, usually you wait for a seed that kind of has, like, you have to go to one dungeon to get a big key for the other dungeon, but I haven't seen it. It has really been, you know, just beat the dungeons that you can. And, like, the skips that Shady Force has made up to this point really have not burned at all. You know, we're still waiting to find out about that Swamp Big Key from the Hobo, but the Ice Palace Big Key out of Hookshot wasn't a problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's and I'm wondering if Shady Force feels like he has to take a few gambles against Andy in general, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, 2 top-tier runners, without a doubt. This could just be a question of, you know, inverted comfort and saying, you know, this is not my kind of mode usually. I can play it. I've done, you know, I have some experience, but I know I might have a little disadvantage on the mode itself. But there's our red cane, so... Hey, Nitro, where are we going after this?
Oh, we're going... Mire.
Yeah, we're going to Mire after this for sure. And a decent chance, you know, if we get Ice Rod, that just... rock right...
Yeah, then we just need Mire and flippers. So Shady Force will be first to the ring around the Armos Knights, and with the silvers, it'll be one of the quickest fights. And then Shady Force is going to head over to Mire and full clear that as well.
Yeah, early silvers, you know, no real combat issues here for most of these bosses. I think we still see Sahasrahla after this, you know, get those 3 items out of the closet, turn in that green pendant. Even if it's nothing, you put in the effort. But here we go. What is our item off of Armos? Just a 5-er.
Well, that's also locked by the flippers. So the flippers have to be much earlier in the seed at this point because the boss is not really dropping progression. I'm going to guess the flippers had to be earlier, you know, like in pod or something.
Yeah,
you do.
With both of our bows very much in logic, I would not be shocked that that Palace of Darkness right now has something. It's definitely one of our denser locations that we have access to. Although realistically, we do have a lot of access now to Turtle Rock, possibly. And just a piece of heart on Sahashwala, so no surprises mainly there with how deep that is into the logic chain. And yeah, nothing out of the closet either. Just our another bottle, our second bottle now.
And I am definitely converted into pendant pot after my mentor helped me with that in the tournament.
Yeah, it's a play. I don't know if I agree. You know, I think you keep to the plays that make sense. But it's definitely looking more and more like something could be in there at this point. You know, we're waiting to find that next piece of progression. I think the big two, you know, if we get Mire, that opens up a lot. That creates the endless cycle of climbing and dropping into Turtle Rock. And if it's going to be instead the flippers don't open up much, honestly. It just puts everything that we've done in logic.
Right, so we really need the mirror at this point.
And the question of mitts, yeah, there's only one check in this game that logically requires the mitts, and that is King's Tomb. So really unlikely we're going to see King's Tomb today.
Yeah, I can't possibly imagine what could be there.
Yeah, especially given that boots lock it. Like we need boots and the mitts, and we don't even have the flippers to put boots in logic yet.
Correct.
So yeah, just about looks to be a little less than a minute and a half between our two runners now in Mire. So this is a very close race up to this point.
Yeah.
The only thing is that Andy really is not going to be able to, you know, probably make up some time just, you know, if he can execute a little stronger. But I mean, both runners are executing really nicely, so there's not even time there. This is just the most linear possible seed at this point.
Are you able to set up the glitch in
so spooky action inside of a Mire is part of like an inverted seed or a cross keys seed. Yes, there are ways to set up spooky still. You can use some Samaria block shenanigans to kind of re-give yourself spooky. We'll see if either of our runners go for it.
Samaria, the most broken weapon in this game.
Yeah, to do it, what you're really looking for is, I don't know all the details, but really we're going to see our runners like get rid of a Samaria block into a pit. That's kind of what does it. I don't know all the details, but that's the roughest of explanations.
Yeah. Couldn't tell you. I can't do it on a good day, so. We also have the powder. Nobody has checked the magic bat, so that's going to be interesting to see as well.
Yeah, and as Chad also bringing up, you know, what about Hera Basement? There's something there possibly. We don't know for sure. Hera Basement could just have our other dungeon item, or it could have an item. Between that and the big chest, we know one item is still in that dungeon. And Andy is looking to avoid cutscene, and that's going to pay off nicely because the compass was there. So good skip right now. And it just brings him that much closer to Shady Force. And there's our ice rod. So Trinexx is kind of available.
He is. We just need a mirror to get there.
Well, and technically we could have the keys layout work very nicely here. So one of the cool little things, of course, is you know, we still have front door access.
We do.
The back of Turtle Rock is hollowed out to kind of allow you to ledge jump onto the medallion spot. And if the keys work out, you could just go front to back like a vanilla seed. And yeah, Andy's routing through Mire has caught him up substantially here. He is a room behind Shady, and actually now into the same room. So there is the setup for Andy, as well as Shady. So nicely done from both of our runners with that spooky action. If you're looking for what that's called, I think Vortex said it's the all dungeons variant of spooky. You usually see that in the RMG all dungeons mode. So really nice little trick there. Both runners through it, and we've got pretty much runners simultaneously on Vitreous now.
Yeah, they're in the same room, same boss, same dungeon, same items. And because of Andy's execution, he caught himself up.
And I don't even think that's an execution thing at this point. I think that's just smart routing. Andy saying, I don't want to do cutscene check.
Oh, yeah.
Shady saying, I'm going to route this, doing torches into cutscene and, spending the time to do that torch room. Andy saying there's a low chance that an item is there. Andy finds the second item in the big chest and skips cutscene. So really, really heads up play.
Yeah, it looks like both of our runners are hitting CR.
And you couldn't ask for much more in this kind of race. Both runners just showing their skills here. Really strong play. You got the hook dash up those stairs from both of them. So amazing overall. Shady is going to give us, of course, Hookshot Cave.
I forgot he didn't do this.
Yeah, he hadn't done this earlier, hadn't made the return trip. The only prize, of course, is that Ice Palace Big Key, and I believe Shady does know that it's nothing. Because I think we got like a compass or a map out of the big chest, so he will not be heading back to ice.
Well, that's definitely good, because you definitely would not want to see that.
So the one thing here about Turtle Rock is we could run into a situation where there are no keys in the front, although we just get the mirror. That's great.
Thanks, game.
So that does mean Turtle Rock is full clearable. You might be wondering, why is that the case? Well, head to Light Dark Mountain, or Light Death Mountain, and you can use Mirror to hit to land on Laser Bridge. Ten arrows and compass. So there you go. That is exactly what I was saying. Small keys out of the front. But with that mirror, we are not locked out of this dungeon. Andy is going to rush back to the Light Death Mountain portal in front of the Agator entrance, and then just make his way back over to Light Death Mountain to finish up these checks. Or to finish up Turtle Rock.
Right. This is the complicated part of Death Mountain inverted. So if you want to know how to play it, watch Andy's side, or for this.
And it looks like we're going to get the same play from Shady. And yeah, the question is, which way does Andy decide to approach this first? I think we are going to get to see Laser Bridge first. I think we're guaranteed a small key there. So, but we'll probably full clear Laser Bridge even after we get our first small key. At this point, the only item we are missing, are the flippers.
Right.
So yeah, we're going to take this middle drop down here, Mirror, and that puts us at the Laser Bridge entrance. And here we go.
Nope, and it's the first SC checks.
We get another bottle. There's our small key. That is go mode officially now. So at about just shy of 1 hour, 13 minutes, Andy has entered go mode with Shady Force not far behind. This race is far from over. Both of our runners are just going to be, it's going to be a mad dash to finish this one now.
Yep. And of course, Swamp is pretty fast, so this will be Interesting. And interesting, so Shady Force not going into the Turtle Rock and Laser Bridge going through the big chest first. So we'll lose some time here.
Yeah, question in chat about the GT Big Key. Why is that not required yet? GT Big Key in Ambrosia is actually guaranteed to be inside of GT. It is the one big key we can say that about.
And this is a little bit unfortunate as Shady Force is going through all of Turtle Rock, where Andy did not, and so gonna lose even more time here.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. While Shady has been nicely so far, doing that middle section first before going directly to Laser Bridge is going to cost quite a bit of time.
And I think this is also just, you know, his not being as great with the mode as Andy is.
Yeah, Andy playing a bit aggressive, you could say, but I you know, either play is the right one. And I mean, this just sets up nicely for Shady cleared here. I think, you know, Shady knows I'm going to get a small key in one of these checks. Probably, so I can get to Laser Bridge anyway after this. It's just unfortunate that the small key is, you know, or that the rest of Go mode is on Laser Bridge.
I think when you are in that situation, I think, you know, Laser Bridge probably the better choice, and then you can always backtrack through Turtle Rock all the way to all those other checks. So you check Laser Bridge first, and then just keep going backwards through the dungeon. Kind of like in a cross keys kind of way.
So Andy into Swamp Palace as Shady Force is on Laser Bridge, gets those flippers for Go mode at just shy of an hour and 16. So only a few minutes difference in terms of Go mode acquisition. But at this rate, Shady is probably going to be about a whole Swamp Palace behind.
Yep. And Swamp just such a fast go modable dungeon that, you know, unfortunately, just the way it is. Nice Trinexx on Chidi's side.
So Shady Force with Crystal number 6 at that 116.50-ish mark. Andy into the back of Swamp Palace here, just has to get that small key before heading into Argus. And realistically, I mean, the equipment, you know, 13 hearts, blue mail, butter swords, silver arrows. I mean, the only thing you could even want is half magic, and even that's kind of just over the top now.
Yeah, I mean, for these runners, I don't think they care about half magic anymore.
And Andy going for that 0 cycle, really frantic through the puffs. Did he get it? No, just a little bit slow there. Really nice on the first cycle, just a little bit missing some stuff. And going for the silvers does hit it eventually. So Andy getting his 7th crystal right here. 10 refill arrows, nice timing. And the crystal catch at 117.42.
All right, so chat, there are 22 possible locations on where that big key can be, and you can win imaginary internet points. So go for it. So, my fellow commentator, where do you think it's going to be today?
Let's go with 7. Ago is a little bit unkind, but maybe GT will be better. By the way, so you might have just noticed Andy re-entered his Swamp Mirror portal, and then save and quit. Because we killed Aga, it puts him directly on top of Hyrule Castle, which saves him time to get back to Hyrule Castle. Just a nice additional little piece of the inverted logic that makes this just so much faster.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so first two, no big key.
Or small keys, so we're not even going to get to try to go right. We'll see if maybe we get a Dark Magician kind of strat here. Never mind, there it is. Number 3, the big key. So in terms of our guesses from our lovely Twitch audience, we had a 3 from Captain Bust 'em Up. We also had 3s from... I saw a few 3s, so let me get through this. Sorry, there are a lot of you. Albino Kid Elite, also with a 3. Tomb Robber 77. And Pandag 4. Oh, Slacker 575 apparently had the first 3? Did I miss that? I apologize. So congratulations to all of our guessers of the number 3. You got that 1 in 22 correct. But meanwhile, Shady Force into the back of Swamp Palace as Andy is going across the cannonballs into the gauntlet.
And this is pretty much Andy's race to lose at this point. He is quite ahead now of his opponent. So we'll just see. And there's not even really much on Ganon that could possibly delay the inevitable.
And he's taking that bonk to set up the silvers on Landmolus. Very nicely done with the 1 cycle. Shady getting a good kill of Argus at the same time for his 7th crystal. But Andy blazed through the gauntlet into the most satisfying rooms in all of Rando, the Wizrobe rooms. And very nicely done on both of those as we head towards Torches 1.
Now, if Shady Force goes to the left, now again, he still has a lot to catch up, but that would certainly give him time. But nope, he's going to right first.
Yeah, Hope is pretty much the traditional early play. Andy remembering I do need an extra small key, so he picks that one up. Down to 3 hearts, but shouldn't be too worried at this point. Gonna pick up the heart, yes. And of course the full magic under this pot.
And of course, Andy's like, I'm not going to fight Moldorm. Nope, no thanks.
Yeah, and of course, when you do hover that Moldorm too, you do have that bumper sound. Nice little hallmark of the hover.
Yeah. Alright, down goes Aga 2. So chat pretty much got everything they wanted. They got all the dungeons done, other than Pod. So we got to see Aga 1. So chat pretty much got everything they wanted. The only thing we didn't get was Aga Tower. I mean, Pod.
Yeah, no requirements for Pod on this one. Meanwhile, Shady Force into the gauntlet, giving us a little bit of swap, switching over to the regular arrows, get rid of some of the lag associated with the silvers. And nice dash strats here with the butter sword. And Andy just pouring it on, honestly, on Ganon. Only needs 6 slashes, but very nicely done to get even more in there into phase 3 as Shady Force is into Land Molus, also getting that nice 1-cycle land mow. There's our final strike for phase 3 into phase 4. Going to start off with, I think, a double. Yeah, there's a double to start. And Andy instantly getting that torch hit. Easy second double to finish this fight and seal this series. Just has to cross that 1x3 bridge, and this will seal it up for Team PugTrio to advance into our Invitational League finals.
Yeah, get your GGs in chat. Absolutely fantastic. What a great game.
Yeah. Yeah, excellent Invrosia run there. Andy finishing official time of 1:21. And as I said, that does put PugTrio into the league finals for Invitational. Now, this, I do not have many details on this one. I just want to make this announcement. I did receive a direct message from one of our league admins stating that we actually can say that the finals is set. We will be seeing PugTrio versus the Titans Mitts. Skull Kids apparently is forfeiting Game 5. And so that means that that series is also decided. Our finals are set. PugTrio versus the Titans Mitts.
Okay.
I apologize for having no additional details, but that is just what I have been handed from league admin's perspective.
Hey, they get that's why they're the top of the lines, right?
Yep. So that's all I can say. We will see, of course, if we can get Andy in here. And speak of, we are now joined by Andy. GG.
GG.
So I don't know if you heard, but your finals matchup is now set.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So it's going to be the Titans Mitts.
All right. Cool.
So I guess, first thoughts though about the seed.
I really thought about leaving Thieves Town with that lamp because I was like, there's no way it's not Aghanim. But it was a little sloppy to start, but afterwards, I guess like everything kind of fell into place one after the other. Mire into flippers was really gross. Nice little inverted exclusive. But
yeah, I think the two moments that or the few moments that, if you watch this back, you got the boots a bit earlier, going with the fake flipper, and then Mire routing, you skipping the cutscene chest, and of course, after getting that mirror, you deciding to do laser bridge immediately, where it went to the middle of TR first.
Yeah, so, I don't know. I saw chat debating about what the best play there is, and I don't think there is one. It's either going to be awkward and slow, or Little Rock Big Chest is just super isolated because you don't have mitts yet.
Yeah, unfortunately, Death Mountain routing in inverted is the only drawback of this mode.
Yeah, there's a couple things I would like to get changed, but I think I'd probably say that every time I'm doing an interview here within its Invrosia. I think moving the weather vane to the Dark World would open up a lot of openings. Removing the stupid Titans Mitts rock between Village of Outcasts and Dig Game. I don't know why that's there still, but yeah, Death Mountain is just really awkward.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Shady Force did just take down Ganon, so get your GGs in chat for Shady Force, finishing with a time of 1:27:43. And we'll see if Shady is going to be able to join us as well. And of course, here we go. Shady Force has now joined us. GGs.
GGs, sir.
Yo, GG Andy and PugTrio. Good luck in the final.
Thank you. Considering we'd never won a playoff series before this season, I'm surprised we're here, to be honest.
Yeah, well, same, yeah.
a testament to just the utter strength of the Invitational playoffs, I think, in general, probably.
Or clearly Solski is the biggest brain free agency pickup of all time. But we can't feed that ego too much.
So I guess initial thoughts from you, Shady, on this one.
I actually thought it was going fairly well. I was wondering at the time if Andy might never get the boots, because I didn't think it was so obvious to get to there. I think shortly after we did some Light Worlds stuff, we had access to stuff on Death Mountain, and I was thinking, oh, maybe he never gets these boots, and I have the boots for the whole season. That'd be great. And then the big keys on the torch. But then shortly after I get the big keys on the torch, I see the dot done anyway, and then I know. But I was feeling well. I feel like I played well, and I'm kind of happy with all my decisions. One or two things maybe I would have done differently. I think I like the decision I made in Turtle Rock, even though it was totally the wrong play on this particular layout. But I should not have gone to the Mire cutscene. That was probably a mistake. Maybe I didn't need to rush to desert, although I guess we both do desert anyway. But I think you did it after when you had the boots. I understand from what I'm reading.
Yeah.
I avoided desert area early because of the lack of boots. I didn't want to walk in there with a big key and no boots. So we did that after Zora area. Or I did that after Zora area.
Yeah, that makes sense. That would have worked out. Although there's only one item right side and it wasn't anything, so that wouldn't have burned me, but maybe it would have been a better wash. I don't know. But yeah, getting the boots a bit later. Yeah, I don't know. I felt like I played it well, though.
It was pretty much a dead tie heading up Dark Death Mountain for Turtle Rock. So, you both gave the audience a great race to watch today.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, the Turtle Rock routing's interesting. I don't know what's best either. Because obviously, if Flippers and the small key are both on Laser Bridge, you're great. But if you could be key locked in Laser Bridge, and also if the Flippers aren't there, it's probably a little longer to go from Laser Bridge all the way back to the earlier checks than from the middle door. But it's kind of hard to say, really.
You can always get to the middle part of Turtle Rock without a small key.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, the key's just for Trinexx. I forgot about that.
Well, you go through the key door backwards.
Yeah. So you can always get to the crystal roller. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't consider that actually.
Yeah, and you could do Laser Bridge into like going out the Turtle Rock left ledge and get the big chest from there too. That takes away the mirror warp, but if you were like worried about just skipping big chest, I guess, without the mitts, you could do it that way too. But
it was more I wanted to. I feel like mirroring back to the big chest entrance and then just going on the dark maze isn't too bad, but
I mean, it depends too. Like if you're more than just Flippers from Go mode, like I definitely think there's more of an argument for starting big chest, but I think just Flippers is probably more beneficial for Laser Bridge.
Yeah, you're probably right. The one thing you can't do is just go and beat Trinexx when you're there at Laser Bridge, because then you have no mitts and it's just a ball ache to get back as well.
Yup. I got that mirror and I'm like, well, this is gross. Guess we're going around in a big circle right now.
I know. That mountain needs some work in Inverted. There's a lot of reclimbing. Reclimb to get to Mimic Cave. Reclimb to get to Spiral. Reclimb to check the inside of Spectacle Rock. Reclimb to, all this. It's just it's a lot of work.
It's mostly fixed if you just put Turtle Rock Ledge in the Light World and add an extra drop down for the middle. That's all it needs.
Ah. Yeah. Get on it, Rando devs.
I've been saying this for years. Make Inverted relevant somehow, please.
I don't mind the mode, actually. I quite like it. I like the save and quit to Ganon's tower and save and quit to Ganon. That's quite nice.
Yeah, nice moves by both runners, remembering that little trick.
Yeah, I do think Invrosia is like a nice, a big turnoff is regular Inverted. Like, oh, you get a sword and a fire rod. Have fun doing like 3-heart fighter sword Mothula. But with the big keys shuffled, there's no guarantee that Moth's in logic early. You're probably not fighting a blind early. Probably.
Except nicely done by both of you today on that, what, 4 blind?
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah, with the sword, we're not really worried about blind, but Moth can still be like Moth can still kill you with the sword
Yeah.
on low health. So I'm kind of glad there wasn't an Ice Palace dip. Like I'm generally comfortable with Ice Palace, but I don't know. You might run out of bombs, and I'm not hovering over any of those gaps, so that could have been a lot of repeated dives. But no, Ice Palace was later on in the seed as well.
So, of course, this does end the season for the spoilers. Shady, any closing thoughts, I guess, on what is overall an excellent season either way?
Yeah, it's a pretty good run actually. We could have lost that. We could have lost our last matchup. We could have lost the matchup before. Like a whole bunch of gamers in this league. So I think we've done well to make it this far. Super proud of the guys. Like I don't feel like I played too badly this season, although I haven't got such good results. I'm still well in the positive in the results, but the other guys have definitely carried me a bit this season, especially Zelga. I think he's 11-0 this season. He's been an absolute beast, especially in the cross keys modes. And yeah, we've done great, and I'm super happy with how it's went. And I don't mind putting my feet up now and watching the final. Now I can rest and play some other games and not worry about this.
And of course, that does mean Andy, you and PugTrio into the finals. Thoughts? No Titans mitts.
I mean, it's invitational league finals. No matter who we're playing is going to be difficult. They got 4 losses to their name on the season. So it's definitely not going to be easy. Bhutan against Nep is going to be really, really rough. Nep rocking the hot 12-0. Relk and Solsky should be a pretty good matchup in cross. And then obviously me and Dante get to fight for Thor's glove. So it should be good all around, I think. Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be rough.
Any questions from you, Nitro?
No, I'm good. I'm looking forward to the finals. I hope to get to commentate one of them. But you guys did phenomenal. Inverted is one of my favorite modes too, and I just love to see how the experts do it. So you guys were spot on. And good luck to you, Andy, in the finals as well.
Thank you.
And I hope you're feeling better. I hope you do not have COVID.
Yeah, me too. We'll see. I'm probably gonna go take a nap. So,
in terms of what we have still going on for today, I know there is daily races and other speed running events going on all the SpeedGaming channels. That is going to do it, though. It looks like for the conference finals, as I said, the finals are set with PugTrio versus the Titans mitts. So do look forward to those coming up on the schedule, probably starting next week. In terms of the open finals, I can say that a game 4 is scheduled. So that will be on Sunday, and I believe it'll be 2 p.m. Eastern time. That is JKLOL, team I'm a part of, versus Bottles on Empty. So we're going to have Kazdin versus Ninjembro in Ambrosia. So do look forward to seeing, hopefully you all join for that great race coming up. And then hopefully even a game 5 soon after. So leagues are almost done. We do have a little bit of open left, and of course a full series for the Invitational League. So do pay attention to the schedules, and you will see those races coming up. But with that, that is going to do it for us. Make sure to give a follow to both our runners, Andy and Shady Force. Big shout outs to my co-com today, Nitro 6003, and Daruk for tracking today. Always the unsung heroes, the quiet champions of keeping us on the ball. And I'm going to let Nitro close it out.
yeah, they just make sure that we know what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Jesse, for commentating with me, and thank you everybody for watching Speed Gaming. We'll see you guys all next time.